mix it up a bit so we don't look like we're that much of different. Oh, God.
Do I smell?
You smell like onions. No, I'm just kidding.
That's because I work.
Did you have onions for breakfast?
No, but I did have onions for dinner. Thank you.
You did?
Thank you. That was a very nice dinner. At candlelight. You do the intro. Do the intro. Thank you, Jamie, for that beautiful rendition of our new theme song.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, Building Resilience, where today we are going to talk about our first big mistake.
Ooh. Yeah, I made so many.
I hate making mistakes. I am such a perfectionist, so any mistake that I make is just immediate anxiety, immediate, oh my god, I'm gonna get fired. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this as my life career because I suck at it now because I made a mistake. I immediately panic. But not like that, like, you don't know what to do panic, but like that, like, your
mental health breakdown, ADHD, sensitive discipline, sensitivity dysphoria, yeah.
We're killing the words today.
We are.
Yeah, mind you, I can count on one hand the number of mistakes I've made in a year and a half of work. I'm very proud of that. But I made two big mistakes where it was like, okay, how are we gonna fix this? Because we need to fix this. It was a very silly mistake. I had measured something and I was going across, and then instead of measuring across again, I was like, yeah, that's it. Except I went, yeah, that's it. And I drilled through the customer's wall out through their brick into the backyard. And it was too high. So that was a fun time. And I immediately asked him, am I going to be fired now? And he laughed and said, no, it's okay. We all make mistakes. I'm like, not me! I don't make mistakes!
But that's what's important about recognizing is that you're going to make mistakes, and mistakes are a way to learn, especially when you do something like that and you never make that mistake again because it's very memorable.
I never made that mistake again. I always double check even to this day. So, big lesson for me. But what was your biggest mistake?
Well, I've made several mistakes over the years. So I remember, so I was an apprentice. I can't remember. I was pretty new in the trade. I had just received my ticket to work on a aerial work platform, and I was being sent up to go and tighten the bolts up about probably 60 or 70 feet in the air. So I had all the air hose with the great big impact, and here I went in the man basket, and I went all the way up to the top, and I started bolting up or hitting all these to torque, and there was some that I just couldn't reach, and I decided that instead of going back down with the man basket, that I would just move the man basket from up in the air, not realizing that wasn't what I was supposed to do, probably because I didn't pay enough attention
and you were
in training.
You were 60 feet up.
Yes. So the basket was swaying like crazy, and I just thought that was normal, and I actually thought it was fun. I'm like, wee, 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 flying through the air as I'm moving around. And then I finished my job, went down to have break, and never heard anything about it. And the next day, I get called into the office. My superintendent's like, so Jamie, we're not quite sure how you did this yesterday, but while you were up in the man basket, you happened to hit up on 3 anchor bolts and completely destroyed them. They were completely bent, and they were actually they had been installed in concrete to hold up some of the columns that we were putting up to support the elevator shaft that was going up to the top of the blast furnace, and I had taken out 3 of those anchor bolts. So I literally cost the company thousands of dollars by them having to hire somebody else to chip out all that concrete and put those bolts back in place. So that was a big mistake, big learning lesson. And thankfully my boss was really understanding because I was an apprentice, and when you're an apprentice, sometimes it's really important to have a journeyman working with you so you don't make silly mistakes like that. So please pay attention when you're working and make sure you always know exactly what equipment you're working with and how to use it safely and properly.
But did you get fired?
I did not get fired, but I learned a huge lesson that day, and I was super hyper vigilant from that point forward.
Did you learn something?
I definitely learned something.
Then, as much as failures and mistakes feel like you're not successful, I would still call that a success. You learned something.
And so did you. We both learned to be more focused on the task at hand. I definitely
Don't go
learned
swinging.
a lesson about, even though it's fun, it's not safe.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. So.
Well, I know that my anxiety went through the roof during that time, but I was able to calm down. And in retrospect, like, looking back at it, it was like, okay, yeah, like, that's not the end of the world. I could have done a lot worse. And I'm sure you have the same kind of thought process as well.
I do. And over the years, I mean, I've worked with some of the smartest, most brilliant people in the trades that at times have made mistakes too. I've never actually worked on the tools with her.
Oh.
But no, I've worked with like the best of the best, and even they make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. And when you make a mistake and you actually grow from it, and try not to take it personally because we are going to make mistakes, just hopefully you don't end up causing the company so much money that they let you go. But usually they're pretty understanding.
Yeah, usually you have to do something really bad or intentional.
Yeah.
That is where they will be like, I think we need to have a talk about your future here.
Exactly.
But if it's an honest mistake and you learn from it, I don't know a single person I don't know anyone who has ever been punished by losing their job from that. So it's all in retrospect. Everything is going to be okay. It's going to work out. You're going to make mistakes. It doesn't matter if it's your first day or your last day. You're going to make a mistake.
And please understand that when you're an apprentice and you are going out to work with a company, or even if you're not an apprentice and you're going out to a company and you're very clear with them that, hey, I haven't worked on this, I haven't done this before, they're usually pretty lenient. They understand that you're new at learning this or you're a new apprentice, and they do have, they do take that into consideration.
100%. Like, in each trade, there's different sectors, right? Like, for me, we have, in electrical, we have residential, commercial, and industrial. Those are our big 3, but we also have, like, other avenues. So if I do my entire apprenticeship doing residential new builds, and then I go and my company's like, oh, I need you to go do this commercial new build, and it's bending EMT. Well, guess what? There's no EMT in houses, really. So that's going to be like a brand new thing for me. I'm going to be learning. I'm going to be making mistakes. I'm going to need an extra, like, couple pieces of EMT because I'm going to screw up bends. Like, it's going to happen, even though I'm a fully licensed journeyman. I'm not. This is a hypothetical situation, but...
Yeah. Well, even myself, I full journeyman iron worker over 10 years before I ever stepped foot in the oil sands. And for me, building a gas and oil plant was a brand new experience. I had no idea the first thing about going to gas and oil when I had spent most of my career in steel plants, hydro plants, car plants. So it was a whole new apprenticeship almost for me doing that. So yes, it's acceptable to make mistakes, but please never feel that there's a stupid question. Always ask, always verify, and no matter what you do, always be safe.
A company, and I know for me, if I'm teaching somebody or if I'm being taught, like, it is always, we would rather you ask us 100 times than assume that you know what you're doing and make us go back and fix it. Because you're going to waste our time with us having to go back and fix it, and you're going to waste our material, and overall you're going to waste our money. But if you just ask the question and maybe you don't get it the first 3 times, but you ask the fourth time and then you're like, oh, I understand now, and it takes you 5 minutes, they would much rather you much rather pay for those 5 minutes of talk than all the material and the time to fix your mistake. So ask questions. Always, always, always ask questions.
Yeah. So I think we're pretty much out of time for today.
Yes.
So
thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We will see you soon, and please like, subscribe, and share this video. If you want to comment down what your biggest mistake was, or what you learned, a lesson you learned, any advice that you got, we would love to hear it. And with that, for Jamie and I, thank you for tuning in, and keep building resilience, guys.
And never... Oh God, I lost it.
You're never alone.
Don't forget, you're never alone.
Nice mistake, Jamie.
Oops.
I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.